cannot sign just. I cannot, sorry, I had to stop signing with my right hand. I'm going to sign everything wrong. And I know you guys are going to be watching, like, what is she saying? Trying to see if you can pick up on things. And you're going to be like, I don't know what she said. I'm like, it's okay. The hand probably wasn't even right anyway. So I'm going to put it down. But anyways, so what we're doing tonight is we're going to do animals. This one's always kind of a fun one as well. And let's see, I think, because then the next meeting will be like emotions and feelings. So, and how many more classes do we have, Katie? One? Oh, we're really, wow. I'm so off on mine. I'm sorry about that. I'm like sitting here like, okay, we got like 3 or 4. No. We're right at the end. Okay. Anyway, so after animals, if we have time, we can try to start some of the emotions. Emotions is not like a big one. I mean, it is kind of a good content, but it's not like huge because a lot of signs you can use for the same thing. So, all right, well, let's get started with animals. So the first sign I'm going to show y'all is animal. And the sign for animal is you're going to have your hands kind of in that bend shape, and you're not going into your armpits. You're going like up top. And let me fix my chair. I'm sorry. It's that spinny chair again. And I'm keep twisting myself to angle better, but I watch it twist it back. So you're going to do this, and then you're going to go animal. It's basically like a bird flapping its wings. Animal. Alrighty, and then the next one we have is cat. And so cat is cat. And it's basically what you think the whiskers, which I love. I love when signs kind of make that sense and you're like, oh, got it. And then we have dog. So dog's kind of one of those ones that, let's see, let me see. Is that better? Okay, perfect. So dog is kind of one of those ones that's kind of, I always hate signing it. Not like I hate it, it's just showing it because of how being on Zoom, it doesn't work. So basically, I'm standing up for it, is you're gonna pat your leg and then come into a snap. And that's dog. Yeah. Every time I teach this one, I always make it the most complicated, difficult way possible. So that's why I'm always like, that's like my dread. All right, then we have fish, which if you guys remember from last week when we were doing food, we did the sign for fish. Yep, so fish. So it's the same one, fish. Then we have bird, and bird is the same one as chicken from last week. Yep, bird, chicken, any type of those kind of variety of animals will be right here. Then we have snake. Snake's always a fun one to me. You have your V bend into an X. You start your mouth and then, and you can do just straight ahead. I've always gone a little more dramatic with that. Both work. So it's just that little tongue slither. Then we have rat. So the sign for rat is just your single pointer finger, brush across your nose, rat. This is also can be used for mouse. A lot of times if we're trying to figure out what's the difference, finger spell to separate each way, but rat, mouse. Not used for Mickey Mouse though, just telling you, because the sign for Mickey Mouse is just Mickey Mouse. It's just the ears. So you don't have to be finger spelling Mickey and then going rat and Mickey rat. No, it's just Mickey Mouse. Then we have lizard. I love this one. I learned this one my first year of teaching. And so you're going to have your non-dominant in a fist sideways. Your dominant is in that L shape. And then you go lizard. You just slither it up your arm, like how a lizard's crawling up a tree. Lizard. I think that one's cool. I had a kid aggressively keep going to me, this, and I was like, what is that? And I finally asked another teacher, and she's like, a lizard. And I was like, oh, and then we're like, where's the lizard? So it was really cool. All right, then we have bug. So the sign for bug is you're gonna have that sign motion for 3. You're gonna have your thumb touch your nose, and then you bend down, bug. And this is kind of a generalized sign for bug. It's also the sign for ants, cockroaches, flies, those kinds of things, just the general, like there's a bug right now I'm seeing, it's driving me crazy. If you're trying to be specifics, again, it's usually is that finger spelling of like mosquito, fly, cockroach, all of those. Alrighty. But spider gets its own, which is the next one. So spider is going to be 2 hands on top of each other, and then you wiggle your fingers. Spider. I love this one. It's one of my favorite ones. It's so cute. Okay. And then we have another one of my favorites. It's turtle. So turtle is going to be your dominant has got a thumbs up. And then your non-dominant is going to come in the back and make that like turtle shell. And then you just wiggle. Turtle. I think it's so cute. I'm sorry. The kids always love this one. Like, I remember, and even like the teachers and adults, like when we would be learning this sign, like animal signs, and we do this one, all of us are just sitting there giggling away, doing our turtles like back and forth, like this is the cutest thing ever. So we love that one. Then we have tiger. So tiger is going to be open hands, slightly bent, not fully bent, just slightly. Tiger. Tiger. Yeah. And again, it's like, I love the lot, like you can, in my mind, I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. The stripes. I love when I see signs like that. So then we have lion. And so lion's going to be that very wide open C, and you're going to go lion. And you shake just gently over your head. And that's just to represent the mane. Lion. Okay, we will stop there and go back because I know I'm going really fast through these and we need a review. So, first one we did was animal. So, animal. Then we have cat. Cat. Then we have dog, which is that pat the leg and snap. And if you don't like fully snap, sometimes I just do this motion and you can hear I'm not snapping. It's still the motion for dog. So then we have fish. Fish. We have bird. Bird. Yep. Snake. Snake. Rat. Rat. Lizard. Lizard. Yep. Then we have bug. Bug. Sorry, I saw another bug. I let my dogs in and mosquitoes just came flying at me. So that's why I'm like very touchy. Ew. Then we have spider. Spider. Turtle. Yeah. Turtle. Tiger. Tiger. And then lion. Lion. Good. Good. I'm hoping you guys are liking these signs because you guys got them all right and I didn't have to sign some of them. Like you were doing them so fast. I'm like, oh, I think they enjoyed these. All right. So then our next one is bear. So bear is going to go across and then bear. Bear. And if you were going to, I think we sent out the colors video, right? She will send that out. I was going to say, if you're talking about a brown bear or black bear, you would do the sign. So like brown bear, black bear. She's writing it down now that she will send along the colors video. And then we have cow. So cow, you can do both or one. It's going to be cow. It's just that Y shape, thumb on your forehead, and you move it forward. Almost like how, when cows, they go moo, that motion. Cow. And you can do both. I've seen some people do both. I've seen some doing one. It's the same. It still means the same thing. Then we have horse. So horse is going to be that 3. Your 2 fingers are together. Thumb is again on your forehead, and you go horse. And it's like the ears. That's what I think of. It's just the ears flapping. Then we have monkey. Now this is one everyone could literally guess. It's monkey. It's literally what we think of and what we sign when we pretend to be a monkey. So then we have giraffe. So giraffe is going to have oh, excuse me, that open C again. You're going to start kind of at the base and you're going to go giraffe. And you're just basically showing the long neck. Giraffe. Then we have elephant, which is another one you guys can easily think of. Elephant, elephant, elephant. Then we have turkey. Turkey's a fun one. You're gonna make that G that we have, that normal G, and now you're gonna put it under your chin, turkey. So basically it's like gobble gobble. And then we have pig, which is what we learned last week when I talked about ham. Pig. So the back of your hands under your chin. Yep, then pig. Then we have zebra. So zebra is zebra. It's the stripes across the body. Zebra. Then we have gorilla. And gorilla is another one. Gorilla, ape, those kinds, kind of depending on how if you call an ape more of a monkey, you would do this. If you call an ape more a gorilla, you would do this sort of deal. And it's gorilla. Then we have dolphin. I've seen dolphin a few different ways. The one I personally like is you're going to have your arms sideways, your non-dominant arm, your dominant arms again in that 3 position. Now cross your fingers. You're going to face it, and then you go dolphin. And this is like one of I just think, I like this because it really looks more like a dolphin to me. Some will just do the plain this, some will do this. I've just always liked this one. Don't know why, I just do. Then we have shark. Now, shark has 2 ways you can do it. And I always tend to not encourage, but I kind of fair warn people because there is one that can be very similar to a not nice word. So I'm going to show you first the other one, and then I'll go to that one and explain. So the sign for shark, one of the ways is you're going to have basically doing Spock with your non-dominant sideways, and you put your B in it, and then there's shark. So shark. You don't have to wiggle it across. I tend to because I'm dramatic, if you guys haven't noticed, and I like to be very like acting it out basically. So that's why. Then the other one for shark is shark. And it's that B on top of your forehead. The reason I get very cautious with that one is because this is the sign for, excuse my language, but I'm gonna say it, bastard. And so that it can be a very easy miscommunication. And I won't lie, every time I see a student sign it, my mind immediately thinks they're cussing, and I'm like, oh, and I have 6th graders, y'all. So it's not like they are not informed of cuss words. And so I'm always like, I have to sit there, keep a composed face, being like, are you cussing? Or are you saying the animal? What is this? And then they'll finally start like, they'll start acting it out. I'm like, okay, we're talking about an animal. We're not being rude. But that can be one. I think the difference is how many times you tap your forehead. So if you do this, it's shark. Once it's the not nice word. It's the same through this one as well. This is the female version of that. So I love when signs are very similar to each other, and it's like, oh, you can easily make a mistake. Then the last animal I have is whale. And that is, you're going to make a Y, have that arm across again, whale. And this time you're going to go away from your arm because it's the flapping of the tail. So yeah. Those are the animal signs I have now. We will go back on them. And then after we review them, if you guys have any other animals you can think of, type in the chat, voice it, and I will let you know if they have a sign or not. There are some animals that just don't have signs. And then there are some animals that if you ask someone from the deaf community if they have a sign, good chance they'll probably tell you, no, there's not a sign, you fingerspell. But if you go sometimes online, there are signs, and it's almost like neither is right or wrong, but I tend to trust the person who actually grows up with that language and has used that language more than I always will go with online. So I like to tell people this, no one's ever tried to call me out or anything, but it's just something I like to say because I know some people are like, oh, well, she said there's no sign for, like, for example, flamingo. Really, there's not a sign for flamingo. But if you go online, you will find a sign for flamingo is this. And I'm like, that does not, And I've had literal teachers of mine that are deaf who get really mad when they see that sign. So like, it's not a sign. It's not it. So, but sometimes you go online, you see it, and it's like, yeah, that is the sign, but it's not always the case. Okay, so let's go back. We started, there we go, with bear. Y'all remember bear? Bear. Bear. I always just think of, I don't know why this makes sense to me, but you know, when bears, they just kind of go, rawr, I just think of coming at you more. I don't know. Cannot tell you why. Then we have cow. 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 Then we have horse. Horse. Monkey. I was going to say, I don't even need to sign this one. I hope you guys know that one. Then we have giraffe. Giraffe. Then we have elephant. Elephant. You can start here, and then I start that way just to show I'm starting a trunk. That you can also still just do that as well. Then we have turkey. Turkey. Then we have pig. Pig. Zebra. Zebra. Then we have gorilla. Yep. Dolphin. Dolphin. And you want to kind of go behind your arm. So you see I'm doing it behind. I mean, you can, I guess, sort of go forward, but I always visually think of this as your water. And that is coming in and out of water. So then we have shark. Either way is fine with me. I'll accept either. Yeah. Shark or shark. Then we have whale. Whale. And you want to start from the arm and go out because it's the back of the back. All right, good. Okay, so are there any animals you guys can think of that I don't have in this list? I know obviously there are a ton. Oh, frog. Okay, sorry. I saw it. Okay, so frog does have a sign. So frog is going to be very similar to pig, except instead of like a full hand, you have two and you go frog. So it's that V, frog. You flick it out, yeah, frog. Also the sign really like for toad, again, difference, you would say frog, toad, you would finger spell. Alligator and crocodile, that made me think of that. So alligator and crocodile is the sign that we would think. Alligator. And again, if you were trying to describe the difference, you are trying to say which one you can finger spell, or another way is you can describe it, basically like saying like colors, and like saying, not like saying water, like if it lives in the water, it's like in water, then that means like alligator. Yes, sorry, I zoned for a moment, was like, gotta double check myself, but yeah, so you can describe it, but I know that's more like ASL 2 kind of level stuff, more a little complicated. So where you guys are at, finger spelling is going to be your best bet. All right, are there any other animals you can think of that I did not have on this list? I'm going to add those two before I forget. I'm always adding more to this list because there's always someone who thinks of a different animal or a different food I haven't signed before. So why are you being stubborn? There we go. I'm trying to think of any others I don't have. Alligator. I love going through the list of like zoo animals in my mind, just sitting there going through all of them, like, yeah. Oh, penguin. Penguin, super cute. And I'm gonna stand for it just so you can see it better, but it's basically what you think. It's that waddling with the hands kind of straight forward. Penguin. Very cute, very cute. I love when I see signs and I'm like, I learned that as a child, that's how we would just do it. And it just is like, it makes, to me, I like those kinds of connections. I think that's so cool. So, all right, penguin. Okay, there we go. Any other animals? Oh, rabbit. So the sign for rabbit is very similar to, well, I was going to say bat, but haven't shown y'all bat. So those two I'll show. So rabbit is going to be 2 fingers across like this, like, yeah, that X, and you just go rabbit. And you want to make sure like your fingers stay together. They're not spread out. It's just together. Yeah, it's the ears. Then we have bat, and bat is going to be 2 pointer fingers, turn to your X, and then you go across, bat. So like how they kind of fold up when they're hanging upside down, bat. Let me add those. Usually during like Halloween, we did a whole special where we did like the signs of like the different types of animals you would think of with Halloween and all of those kind of holiday signs. And so that's why it's not on this list normally, is because I'm like, oh, bats. I always think of Halloween with that. Oh, that's a good question. Let me type in these before I forget, because I will forget. No, there we go. I always add 2 T's after rabbit. Hate myself for it. Can't believe I do it, but I've done it, and it's like, I know it's not right. I look at it afterwards, I'm like, it's not right, but my mind's like, you always have to add that extra T. So for the sign for fly, if you remember, we were discussing a couple weeks ago, might have been last week, when I was saying, well, no, I might have not mentioned this to you guys. I apologize that I'm sitting here like, oh yeah, you should know, we talked about. No, we probably haven't. Basically, when you have, so you know how in English we have a lot of words that mean the same thing. So for example, you know, or we'll have a lot of meaning, different meanings to the same word. That's the one I meant. Sorry, not this one. Focus on this one. Like for example, the word run. You know, the sign, like we talk about, oh, we're running for office, or I'm running late, or I went for a run this morning. I have a run in my leggings or stockings. You would not use the same sign for that, because you almost want to think literal. And so if you're telling someone, oh, I'm running for office, and you use the sign for run, which is run, and like it's like 2 L's. You have your non-dominant hook behind your, your dominant hook behind your non-dominant, sorry. This is my right hand, this is my left hand. And then you make that motion. Yeah, it's like, sorry, I'll go slower. So see, this is my dominant, this one right here is my non-dominant, and you're bending, but you're also like, it's almost like you're pulling. Yeah. And that's running. Like this is the actual sign, like I'm running. You wouldn't say like I'm running for office, because that would mean more like they would look at you and go, you mean you're actually like running, like you're doing like a marathon or something. So there's a different sign for that, which is, I think, voting. I think it's something like that. So for ones like fly, if you're talking about the bug, you would fingerspell fly, probably would add the word bug with it, like, or say bug and then fingerspell. If you're talking about flying in an airplane, that is actually where you would use the sign for airplane. And so the sign for airplane is this. You'll have your 2 middle fingers down. You guys have probably seen this one before. It also means I love you. How you know there's a difference is I love you is just straight up like this. Flying is like airplane is in the air. And so if I were to say like, oh, I'm flying to Boston, I would say me go fly. Like I would do the motion of me flying and then fingerspell Boston. So that's how you would do for like flying or using any type of airplane. So if you're talking about like a house fly, you can do house. So you start at the tip and then you go down, house, house, bug, fly, or you can do house fly. There's many different ways you can do it. That's why I say it's not always necessarily wrong when you do certain ways like that. So if you did house, bug, they probably pick up house fly or house fly. And even if you just full on fingerspell house fly, they'll know what you mean. So for butterfly, butterfly does have a sign. I always forget this one. And that one is butterfly. Yeah, it's what we think of, butterfly. But I like where you were thinking. It made me get on a good little topic on this. All right, got to add that one there. So that makes sense how I was explaining. Okay, wanted to make sure. Okay, are there any other animals you guys can think of? Or do y'all want to just go ahead and start with emotions, like feelings? Okay, I saw a nodded head. So we'll go ahead and start with our feelings. So let me pull up, gotta move my phone. There we go. All right, so the first one we're gonna start with is the actual sign for feeling. This is also the sign for feel, like how, like, oh yeah, I have really long hair. Like it is very long. I got it cut a couple weeks ago and it's still long. I love long hair. I always have my hair in a ponytail. I get it. It's very fluffy. That's why I'm like, if I leave it down, you would never see my face. It's gone. So, all right. Anyways, so for feeling and feel, it's the same sign. And it's going to be your middle fingers bent forward and you just kind of go feeling. Yeah, I feel. And you kind of like, you see how I'm kind of like going upward? Yeah, feel. All right. So the first one we always start with is happy because, you know, we want to start off good. And the sign for happy is happy. You just kind of, yep, happy. And since we're here, I already tell you how to say happy birthday. So you go happy, and then birthday is your middle finger onto your chin first. And then you go to the, like, your collar kind of deal, birthday. If you leave it just on your chin, this is favorite. So like if you're saying my favorite sweet candy, that sort of deal, favorite. There's going to be a lot of those added on. Oh, here's this and this. So we have our happy. Then we have our sad. So sad's going to be sad. Sad. And you can go sad, one hand, sad, both hands. And you really want to make sure your what did I say? Shoulders. Sorry, my tongue tied. Your shoulders go down. So you go sad. Because you're not, you know, sad with that smile. No, not sad. Sad with that really sad looking face. You really want to let your like expressions or your feelings really show on your face because that helps it get across better. Then we have mad. Mad and angry, same thing. And so it's mad. And you get that like your hands kind of fisting, mad, mad. There's a couple of ways to also say like angry, mad, you know, I'm boiling. That one's a fun one. So boiling, like I'm just so angry, is you have your non-dominant hand across, and you're dominant with your fingers, and you do this, and you're just like with that angry face, like I am just boiling right now. That one's always a fun one. I try to keep a straight face when I'm saying it because, you know, like I'm trying to show like I'm really mad. I was really mad in that situation, but I just sit there going, it makes me laugh. I have a hard time not like being mad. It dissipates very fast. So, and then another one is like I was exploding, like I'm so angry. And that one is like soda, you know, our soda pop. But now you like pull it all the way back and then you slam down. So you pull, wiggle those fingers and you slam it down. Like I am just exploding. I'm so mad. And then some people will go like this for angry, like I'm so mad. That one I see on occasion, not as often as I see just mad. All right, then we have our tired. So tired is gonna start like our animal. This is also this one right here, just across is have, has, had pretty much is right here. So tired is gonna do this and you go down. Tired, tired. If you do one, you're saying fault. So this is one where you do, if you're saying you're tired, you do go both hands. Kids will sometimes lazy sign and they'll just say this, like they'll say, oh, I'm tired today, I'm tired. And, you know, but we kind of know, oh, that's not what they mean. They don't mean that it's their fault. They're saying they're tired. Then we have excited. So excited is your middle fingers again. You're going to start at your kind of like that shoulder and you go fault. Like it's, I did something wrong. Like it's my fault. I broke the vase. Fault. Yeah. So with excited, you'll do your middle fingers and you're going to go up. Excited. And a lot of times, the more excited you are, the more faster you can go. I have a lot of kids who will be like, ah, and they're doing this. And I'm like, I know what you're saying, but oh my gosh, that's like screaming into my face. It's really funny to watch. So excited. And then we have I'm listing them. I have my list there, but I'm like, got my basics and I'm expanding. Then we have scared. So the sign for scared is you're going to start kind of like with two fists, and then you explode in front of your face. Scared, or yourself. Scared. Scared. And this is also used for like scary house. Like if you're talking about a scary, like a haunted house, I always use scary house. Sign for house. Yeah. So scared house. Again, facial expression is very important. You're not going to say, oh, you scared me, unless you're trying to be sarcastic. Now that I could see, trying to be funny. But if you're actually being like, no, you really scared me, you want to be like, you scared me. Like you'd be like, you scared me. Like I always hunch my shoulders up with it, like, wow, you really startled me. So, and then we have frustrated. So frustrated is going to be two B's, and you're going to go frustrated. And it's like your pointer fingers are kind of brushing on your chin. Frustrated. Mm-hmm. So you kind of see like, yeah, oh, there we go. Frustrated. Patient is, I know that's not really like a feeling, but you know, it's already with kind of in the relation of what my little umbrella. So patient is going to be the back of your thumb. Goes from like the top of where your nose ends and goes down. Patient. Oh, what, there's like another, like, you know, it's like, oh, if like the waiting, like it's just, I'm being patient, but it's painful, you know, we're like, oh, this is awful, you know, kind of deal, is you go very slow with that face, like I am trying to hold it in, I'm trying to wait. Patient. And then we have embarrassed. So embarrassed is going to be open hands, and you go up, I'm embarrassed. Mm-hmm. So embarrassed right now, like again, eyebrows. Really let yourself go into the signs. That's always what I like to tell people. All right, let's see. We had happy, sad, mad. Are there any ones y'all can think of? I'm trying to think of some right now. Confused. Okay, confused is a good one. So confused is going to be two kind of slightly open C's. You're going to have them slightly together. They're not touching. They're not there. They're close. And you see how it's very hard to describe it. I apologize. It's going to be a very hard time, you guys. Bear with me. The back of my dominant hand's kind of near my forehead. And then you go in rotating circles. So I'll go, I'm confused. And I always think of it how, you know, in like comic books, when there's like, you know, people are muddled or they're not understanding something, and you see all those squiggle lines together, like they're just kind of blended. It's that kind of thing to me. Confused. Let's see, any others? Oh, let's see. So the sign for I don't understand does have its own. You can use it still, because I mean, technically, when you don't understand something, a lot of times you're very confused about it, at least with me. That's just kind of that's my personality though, is I'm very like, I don't know, I'm confused. So, but the sign for understand, like don't understand, is you use the same sign for understand, but add something on. So I'm going to show you guys the sign for understand first. So understand is understand. And it's like in my mind, that light bulb going off in my head. Oh, I understand. If you don't understand, there's a couple ways you can do it. One that's kind of the more common one is don't understand. Like you flick your finger, but you're shaking your forehead like this ain't, there's nothing happening there. Another way is going not. So your thumb under your chin forward. This is not. And so this is like any type of like, if you're saying, I'm not working, or I'm not eating. I'm trying to think of word with un in it. Or don't. Those that this means that. So you can go not understand, not understand. I think that's all of them. So there's a couple there, like I said, it kind of just depends. No, neither one's wrong or right. That did also make me think of no, like as in not N-O, but as in like I know. So the sign for no is no. You just have your hand in that bend shape, no, and you just tap your forehead. If you don't know, you go, don't know, don't know. You just kind of, yeah, throw it out. You can still also do not know. That one also still works. This one's just kind of, if you see, I almost think that how when someone else is learning English and they talk, I think I've said this before, but like we have all those contractions. I don't like this. I don't want this. But then, sometimes when people are learning the language, they learn it as I do not want this. I do not like this. And so I think of it as the same way, so it's like saying, I do not know instead of don't know. So neither one's wrong or right. It's just different ways. So no, I do not actually. I don't even use me when I'm saying understand, confused, or no. Like if I'm saying, like if they're asking me, oh, do you know this person? I'm like, I know. I just kind of go with that no, because it's almost kind of understood. I'm not talking about do you know, because if I was going to talk about you, I'm pointing at you first and then I'm tapping, like But since I don't do it before, it's like almost understood that I'm talking about myself. I know. A lot of times I'll like in school, I'll look at my kids after I've explained and taught something and I'll be like, understand? Like I look at them and I'll go, and they'll be like, understand. They don't do, I understand. No, just understand. Excuse me. For like, I'm confused. Sometimes I will go like me confused, or like, if I'm talking about something like that's confusing or that's confusing, I'll either point or I'll do the sign for that, which is a Y, and you go that, you just kind of, it's almost like sassy, that's confusing. So if I'm like saying I'm confused, I might go like, I'm pretending I'm a student. I'll raise my hand like, I'm confused. I'll tap me. But I don't always really use that. I don't ever use I always use me. And only for like a confused would I use me. Most of the time it's just no, don't know, understand, don't understand. So if that makes sense. I see you typing. I'm waiting for the next one. I'm like, I'm ready. Okay, so we probably didn't, and I do apologize. When you get so many classes and it kind of like blends together which ones I've done. So I always am like, please tell me if you don't, if we haven't talked about this. So there is a difference between I and me, as in ASL, we don't use I. We do not say the word I, we only ever use me. So in English, we have two separate ways because for that's grammar and syntax related. Whereas in ASL, the grammar and syntax is different. So it's like, we don't need that. So for me, you just point to yourself. That's always how you say it, is me. This also means I, basically, for us in our minds, thinking I. There is a technical sign for I. Have I ever talked to you guys about C, the different other language? There's one called C. I don't think so. You guys are looking at me kind of weird. So ASL is not the only form of sign language that's out there. And when I mean out there, I mean not just in different countries, because every country has its own sign language form, because ours is American Sign Language. But
is it the one where I think you talked about it, where it's like kind of a literal interpretation of English into signs?
Yes, that. Yeah. So the C is where you would do that I am going to store. And that's where you would use the sign for I, which is a pinky, and you do it to your chest, I. Some people will use it, and the reason for them using it is not always because, it's almost kind of complicated. There's really not always a right or wrong. If you're trying to go full ASL, then technically this is wrong. But some people, when they grow up, they may have not been in an area where if they had a very language rich environment, meaning that whoever taught them might have taught them more using that C and saying, I am going to the store, instead of just teaching them store me go. And so you will sometimes see the I in some forms of conversations. I have a lot of students who will do I, and that's just because of before they transferred over to our school, in their public school, their teacher taught them I. And so it's not always like, it's not the end of the world if you go I and like they're gonna shun you, but it is more, you do this for me. Like I'm talking about I'm going, I went. If I'm saying anything, it's always that me. I'm going, me going. Does that make sense? Okay. It's also the same thing with like the R's, like is and are. There is a sign for is and are in ASL or sign language, but it's not used in actual ASL. It's only used for that signing exact English. So those are the different. There's definitely more. Obviously, I'm just trying to think of those are usually the main ones because we use those so much in English. You know, saying I'm going to the I am tired. She is my sister with that is and the, we are, you know, we use them all the time. The were, we were. Don't use those in ASL. You have other signs you add on top that change it for you. Like if I said we are, or we were shopping yesterday, like or we went, you know, that we in the past that we were shopping yesterday, today we're not, or something like that. You do that. We shopping yesterday, finished. Finish. It's start with the back of your hands and turn around, finished. That's basically how you would use this kind of motion shows like it's the end. You can't always go in the back, like saying yesterday we went shopping, and you wouldn't have to say finished. Sometimes you can, but you have to have something like that, either saying like yesterday, 3 years ago, 4 months, wherever, whenever it was in the past happened, then either that or saying finish to show like it's over. We don't have that word to make that notice of, oh, that did happen in the past. So if that makes sense, I hope it makes sense. Are there any other questions or feeling like words you guys can think of that we didn't do? I'm trying to think. I mean, I'm more than happy to answer questions if you guys have questions, or if I'm confusing you guys on something, please let me know. Like, we still got 10 minutes, so I do need a water break while I'm letting you guys think. Oh, I thought of a feeling, emotions one, nervous. So the sign for nervous is nervous. It's just one hand and you shake it. You can do both. That's again kind of almost saying, showing how nervous you are. Like, I'm a little nervous. Like, I always think of this one as like, I'm a little nervous. Oh, I'm really nervous. Like, I'll do this when I'm like, because I'm not good at public speaking. And for 6th grade graduation, I had to go up and sign a few things for my students, which I was like, I'm going to do this for my kids. I love them. But I was like, I looked at my coworkers. I'm like, I looked at my best teacher, my best teacher friend, and I was just like, I just did this. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to shake. Katie, if you're talking, you're on mute. I think she's talking to someone else. Anyways, so there's your nervous. Oh, rude. I promise that was not in relation to Miss Katie. It hit me because I always think of nervous and then rude relating. So rude is going to be that Y. You'll start at with your thumb on the opposite corner of your mouth. Yeah. So for me, it's on my right side, but for you guys, it's going to be on your left side. And then you go across, rude, rude. There's another one that's rude, and I don't use this one. It's not as common. It was fun being in a conversation with a few students who kept telling me, no, rude is not right, it's wrong. And I was like, no, it's not, because they only had ever learned it their way. And their way is very similar to also the sign for like naked. And I was like, this is why I don't use it. I use rude. That's it. And a lot of times my kids, since they know I'm hearing and I've been born hearing, they will argue with me, and I'm not offended by it. I'm like, no, you tell me what you think, because I don't want to like discourage, you standing up for yourself in your language. But sometimes I'm like, guys, no, I actually do know this. And I'll have another teacher, I'll be like, come here. And then they'll come in and my student will be like, what's the sign for rude? And she'll go, rude. And my student gets all like, it's this. It's just like, and it's really funny to watch. And I'm just like, I told you. And I don't ever get like embarrassed with it, because I'm just like, I know I can't always prove things for them because it's not my language. So I always laugh. I think about that every time. Whenever I sign this, I always just think of having that argument with that one student and just being like, she's like, this is not rude. This isn't rude. I'm like, it is. Polite. So the sign for polite is also the sign for fancy. And it's an open 5, and your thumb again is going to go kind of toward your chest. Polite. This also can be for appropriate. Sometimes we'll have, we're with 6th graders, y'all, and they're learning, they're picking up on new words. And so they'll say words and we have to be like, that's not polite. That's not polite. Or appropriate. Another sign for appropriate is one hand, one pointer, and you go appropriate. Appropriate. Yeah, so if you see, I'm going to go slow. This is my dominant with the watch on it, and I'm just kind of brushing it against, yeah, appropriate. So I'll be like, that's not appropriate. So, but either way, fancy, I mean, not fancy, polite, the same way. Fancy, since we're already here, I think I said this was fancy. It can be. Also fancy is this. Ooh, with the wiggling fingers. Ooh. We use that when we're talking. It's always funny when, for, again, I know I keep going back to the graduation, y'all, but it's like perfect examples. Like the students were dressed up real nice, and I'll look at them and go, ooh, fancy. And they'll look at me like, stop. Because they're so like, they're embarrassed about it. And I'm like, I know they also are like loving that, but they're doing what we always are like, oh, stop it. And it's cute. So, let's see. Any other feeling signs? Oh, upset. And so for upset, what you do is you're going to start with that. It's a B again, your pointer fingers on top of your chest, and you go upset. You just kind of, yep, upset. You do not want to go all the way down to your stomach. Doing that is pregnant. Just fair warning, y'all. It's short, upset. I mean, you can always still use like, if I'm frustrated, I'm, sad. Those are, again, it's like how we use in English. Sometimes we don't always say I'm upset with you. It's like I'm saying I'm frustrated with you. Those similarities can work there too. Let's see. I'm trying to think of any others. Nosy. This one's a fun one. That's why I thought of it. I was thinking of my students, and so nosy is going to be a pointer, and you just tap your nose. You nosy. And a lot of times I'll look at them and go, you nosy. And I know I'm getting into a story time. I do that a lot, but it's fine. I'm like, because I enjoy them. And I hope you guys do. But a lot of the things that people don't realize with deaf students is that, or deaf kids in general, is they are extremely nosy. Basically like how kids are, our hearing children. Except the best part is that they have no shame. They don't care because they're going to ask you whatever. And I will, like, a teacher may be like, come here real quick. And I'm like, okay, what's up? And I'll walk over and they'll be like telling me, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I'll come back in my classroom. The first thing the kids say is, what are you doing? Who was that? What were y'all talking about? What'd you say? What's going on? Like, what happened? And I look at them, I'm like, no one knows you. It's not y'all's business. And they're like, oh. And they get so offended. They're just like, I'm not nosy. And I'm like, you asking me all these questions. It doesn't involve you. And they're like, who was that? And I'm like, who do you think? And so it's always funny. I love this one because I just look at them and go, you being nosy. And they'll do that like with any conversation that a teacher has. I mean, it's just like kids in public schools. Because like, I remember I was that kid. I was a very nosy kid. Still am a nosy person. I'm always like, what's happening? I gained it from my mother. I mean, she's very, because we'll see deaf people out and about, and she will literally tap me on the shoulder. She goes, what are they saying? What are they saying? And I'm like, Mom, you're being nosy, but I'm gonna look too. So it's always ironic when I have to tell my kids, stop being nosy. I'm like, I need to remind myself that as well, because I can be super nosy. Let's see. Okay. Your little child, I think your little girl just made me think of one. Cute. So the sign for cute is you're gonna have, again, that 3 with the 2 fingers together, and you just go cute, cute, cute. I love this one. I'm always like, cute, cute, cute. Let's see, any others? I know we have like 4 minutes left. I'm trying to think. Are there any other signs words that you guys can think of? Like feelings wise, let's see. Trying to think. I can't think of it. I'm trying, but like I'm sitting here like going through my list and I'm like, no, we did that one. We did that one. I'm trying to think. Let's see. I mean, I guess I can. You a girl? Yes, your daughter. There you go. Daughter. So you would, if you're gonna do my daughter, you go my. My's that whole name. My daughter. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So for 2 years old, two. This two. Mm-hmm. Two. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was good though. Fun fact, I'll just say, teaching sign language to kids, toddlers, babies is actually proven. There's research behind this that it actually encourages their language growth, especially even if it's for spoken language. There has been research done where teaching young babies and toddlers will help them possibly lessen their, like, those terrible twos that we always talk about, the temper tantrums, the frustrations. A lot of that does like root with language struggles. They can't get their point across. They're trying to, and they do that to you, and you look at them and you're like, what'd you say? And they get mad because they can't express it. And so there has been some signs where they've seen where teaching baby like signs, different types of like just a few words helps them like get their point across faster. So they actually, their frustrations and their tantrums like lessen. I always think that's such a cool fact. And kids pick up on it like crazy. It's insane. I love it. So just always, I love telling people that because I know there is a lot of misconceptions on people who have deaf kids tend to think, well, if I only focus on ASL, I do ASL, they're not going to focus on ever learning English. And that's actually not always the case. If you do it, you can actually help them grow and to develop into their English. So hungry and thirsty, saw those, I did not want to forget. So hungry is going to be that C. You start at the top, down, and you only do it once. Multiple times is not a nice word. So hungry. Thirsty is thirsty. And this is also one you do once. I am thirsty. Multiple times. We won't get into it, but they're just not nice. So I just recommend let's not use them. So, okay, it is 6:29. Are there any like last minute signs you guys can think of? And obviously, if you can't, or not signs, words. If you can't, we always still have next week. Miss Katie, is next week our last one? Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, next week is the, oh, wait a minute. Let me look at the calendar.
Double check.
Yeah, it is, because then we've got the next class starts August 2nd.
Okay. Okay. Wow. These weeks have gone by really a lot faster than normal for me.
we had two that we missed because July was just crazy.
Yes, it was. That's why I'm kind of like these 2 weeks I have, I'm like, I'm sitting here just gonna chill. Well, what we'll do next week is we are going to do they repeat, unfortunately. I think we've talked and discussed about maybe doing an ASL 2. If I'm being honest, I think ASL 2 in building, like going that higher level, actually does need to be taught by a deaf person, because it really kind of gives you that push to almost like force you, not in a bad way, just force you to use the language you're trying to learn. And so that's just, I feel like since I'm not, I was not born with that culture, I just don't think it's very, for me, it's a respect thing. ASL 1, I feel like, okay, it's a good start, give you guys that comfort set to feel a little more comfortable in it. And then ASL 2 needs to be by a deaf person. We have not gotten far enough into that topic and discussion to see about it just yet. We do know there's
just a minute, bud.
Good group of people. No, you're good. A good group of people who are interested in an ASL 2 class. So that's something I think we can definitely work on and try to see about doing in the future, hopefully. So hopefully, but as what I was going to say for next week's class, what we'll do is we'll do different types of jobs. So we'll have like our whole variety of the signs for jobs. And then a lot of times built with that will be like action words, actually kind of building you guys with sentences a little more. I'm gonna try to as well, try to fill as many words in as possible next week. I know that sounds bad, like sounds like intense, but since it's the last class, I want to give you guys that and give you guys as many words as possible. So yeah, oh, I can take that one off. We used that one already. Rude. Sorry, I saw rude in the little list. I was like, we did talk about that one in one class, but it was not with my emotions, so I didn't see it. But okay, so next week will be jobs and action word, like action verbs, and also doing a little bit of describing clothes, like how you would describe someone. And I think that's it. If there's anything else you guys can think of, obviously just let Miss Katie know. She'll let me know and we can add that to the list. And whatever we don't get to tomorrow, there are also the videos, like the access videos are from like the past classes are still available, I believe. And you can always go look through those and see if there's things like, oh, there's this topic we haven't gone through. Like I know there's a Halloween video of the different signs for Halloween. So you guys can always go and check that out as well. And whatever we do in the future, you will have access to all of our videos in the future as well. So if we ever do add a whole new like kind of day lesson, you guys will have access to it. So, alrighty, it is now 6:33. I will let you guys go have your dinner, or if you've already had dinner, enjoy your night. And I will see you guys all next week. Bye.
Bye, everybody.